Hello everybody and welcome to another video. Today I'll be showing you guys my Gishki deck profile involving the Incantation monsters. And without further ado, let's get right into the profiles. So starting off, we play 3 copies of Gishki Zielgigas. This card's the best card in the deck because it's your win condition. What it does is you can pay 1,000 life points and draw a card. If it's a Gishki card, you can reshuffle a card in the field, which is really good because it's non-targeting, non-destruction removal. And yeah, this is the thing that you want to turbo to the most. This is basically what the deck is centered around. Yeah, so the other Gishki Fusion ritual we play, is Gishki Gustkraken. So what this card does is it gives you some plays going first. So on Ritual Summon, you can look at 2 cards in your opponent's hand and then blast one to the deck. This card's also really good for, like, if you're forced to go first, you have some plays to make, because if you go first, your Zielgigas are pretty dead and you don't really want to make them, so you can save them for using their effects at later turns. So that's why you play Gustkraken. Just these 4 rituals though, because the rest of them aren't that good or are just bricks, and the level 8s are really hard to make, so you don't really want to play those. Then we play 3 copies of Gishki Vision. Vision is super good because you can discard Vision to search for any Gishki ritual monster. And then you can use Vision to be the full cost for ritual summon of a Gishki ritual. So making Zielgigas is really easy if you have Vision. Shadow also can be treated as the full cost, but Shadow, instead of searching for a ritual monster, searches for a ritual spell, which is really nice. And these 2 add a lot of consistency to the deck and make it so that you can turbo into Zielgigas consistently turn after turn. And then, of course, we play 3 copies of Gishki Abyss. You'll have to forgive my proxy, I couldn't find a third one. I spent so long looking for the one, but I couldn't find one, so just have to proxy this for now. But definitely want to play 3 copies of Abyss, because Abyss searches you for basically every Gishki monster in your deck, except Gishki Beast, which I am also playing 3 copies of, because Gishki Beast lets you revive a Gishki monster in your graveyard. So you can normal summon the Beast and then special summon the Gishki Abyss in your grave to get a search off of Abyss. It's basically just ways to get your Gishki monsters back on the board to be used as ritual fodder or link fodder. So that's all the Gishkis that we're playing. Now for the Incantations, just 1 Chalislime. So my reasoning for just 1 Chalislime is that you can't use it more than once per turn in the effect in hand. It's searchable anyways, and the thing is he's a level 7, so if you want to use him to ritual summon, it's really annoying because you can't make Zielgigas, you can't make Gustkraken because they have to be exact, and level 7 is just a really bad number for Gishkis. And but yeah, you can also just search it with Manjus or the other Impcantation anyways, so there's no reason to play more than 1. And then 3 copies of Talismandra. Talismandra is really good. You reveal a ritual monster in your hand, special summon Incantation from your deck. Candoll reveals ritual spell in hand, and then special summons an Incantation from deck. Talismandra searches for monster on summon, and Candoll searches for spell on summon. So there's a lot of consistency added to the deck with the Incantations, but you don't want to play the other Incantations because your Gishki monsters and spells usually get reshuffled into the deck or added to your hand anyways, so there's no reason to get the other Incantations. Also, Bookstone's level 5 and Pencil Plume's level 3, which is really awkward for the deck. Candoll and Talismandra equal level 10, which is perfect for Zielgigas. So that's it for the Incantation part of the deck. And then we play 3 copies of Beautuniful Princess. This card is really strong because on summon you get to banish it and special summon a fish from your deck, and Gishki Abyss is the fish, so you can turbo into Abyss and get a search off of Abyss. So just a bit of consistency card for the deck, a Beautuniful Princess. You can also summon this off of 1-for-1, which is really awesome. And then we play 3 copies of Manju of the 10,000 Hands. Again, just more consistency on summon, search for ritual monster or ritual spell. It's always good to have as many searches as possible just to make the deck as consistent and as efficient as possible. So that's it for the monsters. Onto the spells. 3 copies of Gishki Aquamirror. This card is really strong for ritual spell. It allows you to ritual summon any Gishki monster, and then as a graveyard effect you can banish this to grab, not banish, you can reshuffle this card into the deck to add a Gishki monster in your grave back to your hand. So that's why I say you don't need to play the other Incantations that revolve around the grave, because you just recycle all your resources anyways with Aquamirror. And then 1 Forbidden Arts of the Gishki. This card isn't as good anymore because of Link format and Link monsters in general, but this is kind of like a Kaiju. You get to use levels of all monsters on the field to ritual summon a monster from your hand. Again, it's kind of awkward having a level 10 and level 6 ritual monster, because then the levels won't really add up to the levels that you want. But in general, this card is still pretty good to play. I would recommend replacing this for the Incantation spell, though, if you don't feel like playing this card. But I just have one because of the matchups I play against. This card is pretty good. And then the 1/1 for consistency, again, it summons out the Beautuniful Princess, which special summons Abyss. And then a really, really strong card in the deck, 3 copies of Salvage. So your Vision and Shadow are not once per turn. So after you use them, you can use Salvage to add them back to your hand, you use them again, and like, you just get so many resources off of this card and the rest of your Gishki Abysses and Shadows. So you definitely want to play Salvage. Really, really good for getting more resources like that. And then 3 copies of Twin Twisters for spell removal and trap removal. The thing is, I was actually really considering playing Mystical Space Typhoon over Twin Twisters, because you don't really want to discard cards in this deck. You really want to just, if you want spell removal, you want to just trade 1 for 1, whereas Twin Twisters are getting rid of 2 cards to get rid of 2 of their cards. Like, while it is still a neutral, like, trade-off, you're losing cards in your hand which aren't really good for ritual decks, and you want to have as many cards in your hand to work with as possible. But in any case, that's the main deck. And then on to the extra deck. 7 Sins and Ravenous Tarantula. Tarantula is a rank 10. You can make 7 Sins over Tarantula. So this is always really cool to play. Gustav Max, if you have the other train monster, then the rank 11, I think it came out in LED 4, and you have that, definitely you can play it. I just don't have one on me, but that card seems pretty good for the deck as well. Honor Arc to steal bonus monsters. Bagooska for stun, and Redoer, the new rank 4 in Savage Strike. This card is really, really cool because you get so much advantage off of this by taking the top cards of your opponent's deck, and then you can Farfa itself, draw a card, or bounce an opponent's card based on what you take. And then links, you play Borreload, Unicorn, Knightmare Phoenix, and Cerberus. Pretty standard extra deck. If you have Borreload, you can play it over Borreload if you'd like. The other 3 Nightmares, they're just pretty staple. Akashic Magician, to punish your opponent's plays if they're not paying attention. Double Miss Starboy because he's water, bumps up other Gishkis. Land for Rinkus because he's generic. And Honor Clock Taker. So in general, the extra deck isn't super relevant, but it's always here as a toolbox if and when you need it. So yeah, that about sums up the deck profile. Thank you guys for watching. If you guys have any requests for profiles, please let me know. Deck list should be in the description below, and I'll see you guys in the next video.